Thanks to intelligence, human being has passed in 2 or 3 million years from living in the trees to going into outer space in spaceships. What is intelligence and how to increase it? It is the title of this video. Welcome, I'm David. Today in the 21st century, human beings are proud of the advances achieved thanks to human intelligence, such as the ISS International Space Station, the Space Laboratory, located in Earth orbit 400 kilometers from the Earth. Skyscrapers of almost a kilometer high like the Burj Al Khalifa in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates, the discovery of antibiotics, and many more achievements. All this is possible thanks to something that humans value extraordinarily: intelligence. Intelligence can be defined as understanding the relationship between things, the action being intelligent, that of the person who being in the part acts thinking of the whole. For example, in the business world, in the company, which is in itself a world of the complexity of complexity, intelligent action is that of the collaborator who working in the part of the organization before acting, thinking only in his area of responsibility, thinks about the impact that your action will have on your area, but also think about the impact that your action will have on the organization as a whole. And for this, it is necessary to add another rare quality: anticipatory capacity, which is what the leader has who can foresee the impact that his actions of the present will have in the future. Being in the part, he asks thinking of the whole. All this leads us to the fact that the high-level leader in modern organization is capable of reducing the level of uncertainty, developing for this a high leadership with which they can reduce uncertainty thanks to its anticipatory capacity, which is the one by which it can know the impact that the decisions and actions of the present will have in the future. I know it sounds rigmarole, very complex. In short, intelligence is an ancestral problem-solving mechanism, particularly the problem of survival that includes finding food and shelter, fighting sexual competitors, or running away from predators. Intelligence is not a single thing. It includes the ability to gather information, learn, be creative, formulate strategies and tactics, or use critical thinking. It manifests itself in a great variety of behaviors, pre-programmed behaviors or instinctual reactions, and to different degrees of learning and some kind of awareness of the surroundings. Here it is convenient to remember the 4 stages that human beings go throughout in the knowledge acquisition process. Stage 1 is to be unconsciously incompetent, not knowing that one does not know. Stage 2 is to be consciously incompetent, knowing that it is not known. Stage 3 is to be consciously competent, knowing that you know. Stage 4 is to be unconsciously competent. Knowledge is already part of you, it has permeated in you, and you use it in a natural, competent way. But not all scientists agree on where it starts or even what should be considered intelligence. There are smart people and intelligent people. To complicate things even more, intelligence is also related to consciousness, since awareness of the surroundings helps solve problems. The evolution of human beings goes from an unconsciousness in the past to a greater consciousness in the present, hopefully to a supra-consciousness in the future. Intelligence is not an easy thing to clarify, so we can think of it as a flexible set of knowledge and skills. There are 3 basic skills. The first basic skill of intelligence is the ability to collect information, store it, and use it to learn from it. The information of the world is collected by the senses such as sight, hearing, smell, touch, or taste, and help us to navigate and appropriately react to the external world. Also, intuition, quality of the conscious soul, of the time that we have had to live, together with knowing and understanding, synthesizing, intuition, tolerating. But living things must also attend to the state of their physical bodies, things like hunger and fatigue. Information is the basis of action of all living beings, and without it we are at the mercy of the environment, unable to react appropriately and flexible. Let us remember that well-educated human beings first thinks uses thinking, then feels uses feeling, and then acts uses will, the operating will, the action. The second basic skill is that information is much more powerful if we can preserve and store it. So the second quality is memory. Memory is the ability to save and recall information so that we do not have to start from scratch every time it perceives something relevant. Memories can be of events, places, and associations, but also of behaviors such as hunting or gathering methods. Some of these must be repeated several times until they are mastered. This is the third basic skill that we can call it learning, the process of joining a sequence of thoughts or actions, as we have already related in the educational process, or process in the acquisition of knowledge. A set of acts that can be repeated and also can be varied and adapted. Information, memory, and learning. These three qualities allow seemingly unintelligent creatures to act in surprisingly intelligent ways. For more challenging problems, we need even more flexibility. Starting from basic skills, more complex animals and humans have a larger range of problems that they can solve. They can memorize all kinds of mechanical associations, connections, and skills. We will call this the knowledge bank. Beyond our library of association and skills, the most amazing quality is creativity. To be creative is to be able to produce something new and valuable from things that do not seem to be related. Innovation and creativity. Innovation is all change that generates value. In the context of intelligence, this means making new and unusual connections, uniting perceptions with memories and skills to produce a unique solution to a problem. Another facet of creativity is applying a new resource to a task. Physical tools such as primates that use branches to collect termites from trees. Gathering materials to be used later is connected to an even more advanced dimension of problem-solving planning. Planning is the consideration of the activities that are required to carry out a goal and putting them together into a sequence. We can define planning as the organization of the process in time by stages. When unforeseen situations and new possibilities arises, these must be assessed accordingly to their fulfillment of the plan. One day, a short time ago, I was walking through a forest and a squirrel began to move in parallel with me, looking at me as if asking me to give it something. I rapidly understood his intentions and searched in my pocket until I found a piece of candy that I had forgotten. The squirrel continued staring at me with interest, and I held out the candy with my hand, which it immediately took and left. This is an example of intelligent behavior, such as looking for food and saving it to eat later. This is a squirrel behavior, but even if hiding food is instinctive, they still need to use advanced thinking skills to make decisions. Squirrels sometimes pretend to bury nuts when they are being watched. These empty hiding places distract rivals from their true treasure. The robber monkeys, called langurs, from Jaipur in India, assault market merchants and steal food from them. In Bali, Indonesia, robber monkeys learn to identify items of value to humans and ask for rewards for them. The more complex the problem, the greater the number of tools that must be used together to solve it. Thus, the more instruments there are, the greater the flexibility that a being has to solve the problem that life faces. But even in the case of complex problems, what counts is the individual situation of each being. Humans took the path of investing in an unusual diverse set of intellectual instruments. Although this was very helpful, we accidentally added another set of knowledge and skills, and that is culture. No single person could build a spaceship, but thanks to our ability to work together and share knowledge across generations, we can overcome challenges beyond the ability of a single individual. This allows us to shape the planet to our liking. In the process, we also create new problems like excess pollution or antibiotic resistance as an example. To solve this, we will have to look beyond short-term survival and think far into the future. We have the instruments, we just have to use them. The question now is how to increase intelligence. As we already pointed out, the greater the knowledge, the greater the awareness. Therefore, by increasing our knowledge, we contribute to developing our intellectual capacity, which leads us to the development of our consciousness, which is the positive path of evolution of human beings. For this, we must, as one partner and teacher told me, we have to open and use the macroscope more and less the microscope in organizations. We have pointed out that among the qualities of the human soul of the current historical times in which we are living, and that we must all develop, is the quality of tolerance. Tolerance also contributes to the development of intelligence and self-control. Rudolf Steiner already said, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." Intelligence is also developed using two scientific methods that humans have been using for some time. I refer to induction or analysis and deduction or synthesis. From differentiation analysis to integration synthesis, from the particular to the general, and from the general to the particular. Induction or analysis is the way that of reasoning from the particular to the general. Deduction or synthesis is the way of reasoning from the general to the particular. And finally, developing our capacity of observation, contemplation, and meditation, which are paths that leads to the development of our beings and the development of our intelligence. We will continue to deepen in successive videos this topic that our current society, the 21st century, demands, and also in connection with the business world in which we all live. And okay, if you are interested in our videos, I suggest you give a like and subscribe to our channels in English and Spanish, as we publish videos every week.